What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. For this camera comparison we have the brand new POCO F4 and of course the iPhone 13. Now keep in mind that the POCO F4 is less than half the price of an iPhone 13, just in case you're wondering. So as always, throughout this comparison you're going to be able to see a variety of daytime and nighttime sample pictures and videos. We have some portrait mode pictures, we have some zoom pictures, we have pictures taken at night using the night modes and much more. Just before we start, make sure to press that like button and let's begin by checking out some 5x zoom pictures I took with both devices. Keep in mind that neither device has a telephoto lens on the back, so everything that you are seeing is basically digital zoom. Here, that 64 megapixel main camera that we have on the back of the POCO F4 definitely seems to help because all images are sharper from the POCO F4. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that for 5x zoom pictures, the POCO F4 will do better than the iPhone 13. Moving on to some portrait mode pictures, because I figured you may wanna see a bit more of me, so I only took pictures of myself. Well, Laura took the pictures of myself. Here, looking at the edge detection around the subject, seems to be fairly similar from both devices, so I can't really say that one does better than the other one. Now for colors, I do prefer the pictures from the iPhone 13. The POCO F4 does make my skin look a bit bizarre, I'm gonna say, so it doesn't actually look how I look in reality. So for portrait mode pictures, personally, I would choose the iPhone 13 over the POCO F4. But definitely leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Which phone do you think takes better portrait mode pictures, the iPhone 13 or the POCO F4? Next, we are moving on to some pictures that I took with the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices. The first thing I've noticed here is the fact that the iPhone 13 has the somewhat wider field of view, so you can see slightly more in those pictures taken by the iPhone 13 when compared to the ones taken by the POCO F4. For colors, I feel the POCO F4 has the slightly more oversaturated colors. So I would say those pictures are more Instagram ready. As for dynamic range in those pictures, it seems that the iPhone 13 does slightly better. But overall, I can't really say that one is so much better than the other one. Next, we are moving on to some pictures taken with the main cameras during the day, and of course all the pictures are taken on auto mode and maybe about a second apart from each other. Okay, so looking at those pictures, it seems that the pictures from the POCO F4 have a bit more contrast. The picture sharpness is fairly the same, and the POCO F4 also uses somewhat more saturated looking colors. So if you're looking for the pictures that stand out a bit more, that pop a bit more, you're probably gonna like the pictures taken by the POCO F4. But overall, you can't really go wrong with the iPhone 13 or the POCO F4 taking pictures during the day with that main camera. So I'm gonna let you guys watch a few more pictures and I will be right back. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some nighttime pictures that I took with both devices, and we're gonna start with the main camera and the night mode. So both devices support a night mode for the main camera and for the ultra-wide camera. Now, this is where you're gonna see the biggest difference between the POCO F4 and the iPhone 13. That double the price for the iPhone 13 definitely shows why. So here most pictures, or 90% of the pictures taken by the iPhone 13 are better. They are sharper, they are brighter, they show more details, they show more colors. So this is where you're gonna notice the biggest difference between a flagship and a device that's more affordable, like the POCO F4. So of course, no comparison here. Pretty much every single picture that I took with the iPhone 13, mostly wherever it's darker, is much better. So I guess it comes down to how much money you wanna spend and the quality of pictures at night that you wanna get. And the same kind of goes for the ultra-wide cameras and the night mode. Now, the iPhone 13 doesn't do great with that ultra-wide camera. That's been the case forever. So even though the pictures from the iPhone 13 aren't that great whenever you're using that ultra-wide camera, I feel they're still better than all the pictures you're gonna take with the POCO F4 using the night mode and the ultra-wide camera. So all the pictures from the iPhone 13 are brighter, they are sharper, and they also show the colors more, because the pictures from the POCO F4 almost look like black and white, I'm gonna say. So again, the iPhone 13 is double the price, and this is what you're gonna get with the POCO F4. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some sample video recordings that I've done during the day and at night. So if you're recording with the main camera on the POCO F4, the maximum recording resolution is 4K at 60 frames per second. But if you are recording with the ultra-wide camera or the front-facing camera on the POCO F4, the maximum recording resolution is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Of course, with the iPhone 13, you can do 4K at 60 frames per second with all cameras. With that being said, let's start watching those sample recordings and I'll be right back. Alright, we have a quick video test between the POCO F4 and the iPhone 13. For this recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. Both devices could also do 4K at 60 frames per second. We have a super sunny day, but also a bit windy, so you're probably gonna hear some wind aside from my voice. So you're gonna walk this way you can see how that stabilization works for video recordings. Stop somewhere around here and right slowly. So towards the water. It is getting windy, so you're probably gonna hear some wind as well. So yeah, this is how a recording done with the main cameras on the back of the POCO F4 and the iPhone 13 would look like. To our next recording. So I've switched the cameras to the ultra-wide cameras on the back of the two devices. But if you're using the ultra-wide camera on the back of the POCO F4, the maximum recording resolution is 1080p at 30 frames per second. And of course, that is the resolution that I'm currently using. As for the iPhone, of course, you can record in 4K at 60 frames per second with the ultra-wide camera as well. So once again, I'm gonna stop somewhere around here. We're gonna pan left, so towards the water kind of, and the castle. So 1080p with the POCO F4 and 4K at 30 frames per second with the iPhone 13. Alright, and since I'm here anyways, I might as well film something with that front-facing camera. So the maximum recording resolution on the POCO F4 with the front-facing camera is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Once again, the maximum recording resolution on the iPhone 13 is 4K at 60 frames per second. So with all the cameras, basically. We're gonna walk this way for a bit just so you can see how that image stabilization looks like. I'm also gonna stop here. We're gonna pan right slowly. And I guess walk this way. So the sun is right behind us. So front-facing cameras on the POCO F4 and of course the iPhone 13. Alright, we have a quick video test between the POCO F4 and of course the iPhone 13. For this recording, I'm using the main cameras on the back of the two devices and recording in 4K at 30 frames per second. Of course, as you can see for yourself, we have some lights around, so I guess most people would kind of film under these kind of conditions. It is a bit darker around here, and we also have a lot of music coming from somewhere there. So yeah, this whole recording between the POCO F4 and the iPhone 13 would look like in low light, so basically at night, but with some street lights around. And of course, as you've seen for yourself, the iPhone 13 does better for video recordings, but that was kind of to be expected because, as we all know, the iPhone seems to do the best for video recordings from all smartphones available. Next, we're gonna move on and check out some selfies, and we are starting with a couple of daytime selfies. Even though the POCO F4 doesn't do bad for those daytime selfies, I feel the iPhone 13 still does better, and the same kind of goes for nighttime selfies. So both devices have a night mode for those selfies, but the iPhone 13 does seem to do better. So there you have it, the POCO F4 5G versus the iPhone 13. So what do you think? Did the POCO F4 do good enough for its price or should have been better? Definitely leave a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.